definitely go out and see it. Hey, this is the OBB, and welcome to Beautiful Bombshells. Today, our show is blending families. The do's, the don'ts, the what to think about, what our opinions are of it, and some good, bad, ugly, and pretty hysterical stories. I do have in-house, as always, she's electric. The electric bombshell.
Hello, ladies. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope good. I was
going to wait to answer you. I was going to wait for them to answer you.
Oh, that would be a really boring show. We'd all be bored to tears.
Hey, electric. Well, my night's fabulous, honey. How's yours for night?
Oh, my night's going good. It's going good. I'm sitting here chatting with you ladies. It's always good.
Heck yeah, way. We're in 2 different locations I'm going to mention. So we've got Electric, and let me introduce her first, then we'll tell you. She's not just classy, she's vintage.
Mm-hmm. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. I say hello, but my mouth's full.
You're stuffing it all in your mouth?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'll make a man happy.
That's on the next show.
I just had to throw that in there a little early.
Yeah, that's what.
Never too early.
It's never too early. So why don't you introduce our guests?
How we're in 2 locations. So Vintage and Electric are up in Wisconsin. Yeah, hey there. And then I have in-house with me, we're going to refer to her as Mojo. Say, hey, Mojo. Hi. And we're going to refer to her as Slinger. Say, hey. Hello. And they're in-house with me in Illinois. We're down here in Illinois.
Oh, I hate when people say that. I hate that.
Irritated you, so I just got some sick fun pleasure out of it. Love you.
Love you.
So, you want to do a catch-up? Like, you want to talk about what you've been doing, or you want to go straight into the show, ladies?
Oh, nothing major going here, man.
Say, nothing much has been going on here, sadly. Like, literally.
That's Wisconsin life.
Yeah, that's Wisconsin life.
Yeah. Although we did have some amazing, 80-degree days in February, and now we're down to, what? -7 and 4 inches of snow again.
I know, right?
That's Midwest life.
There's more bipolar than I am.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah,
I know.
no,
I was so not.
I really don't feel like that's possible.
I wasn't sure whether I was supposed to laugh or think about it.
And if you didn't listen to last week's time show, I got issues.
No, you have subscriptions.
Yeah, you don't have issues. You've got subscriptions.
I got subscriptions. All right. Well, so we're not going to do the catch up. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the show. So this week, we're going to change up the weekly segments. So every week we're going to get kind of rid of the Zen and the drink of the week. And so every week we're going to have a hero of the week. We're going to have an inspiration of the week. And we're going to have a healthy tip. And the healthy tip could be something generic like, don't wear bedpans to Walmart. All right, we're not freaking fitness gurus over here.
Yeah, we're definitely not that.
My profile picture. Notice it's never a full body shot, bitches. So, having said that, who wants to go first? Vintage, Electric, who's going to go first?
Well, I mean, I can start it off. I've got the health tip of the week. Or by week, whatever.
Is it wash your vagina?
Well, yeah, you need to do that. But don't use scented soap on it because it'll throw off the pH. Actually, no, it's...
That's just common sense. That's so not health tip of the week.
Okay. So if this is common sense, I want to tell you right now, I just used a rosebud in Labyrinth. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Sugar scrub.
In your vag?
In your vag?
Exfoliate all of my skin.
Well, yeah, but that's to exfoliate all of your skin. Not you didn't shove it in your vag, did you?
Oh, I mean, I didn't realize you were talking about like humping a bar of Dove. I thought
well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, you know, I do not want to have wrinkles down there. No.
Yeah, I definitely don't want wrinkles either.
I never have washed it that way, but I mean, it makes sense now.
There you go. See? Oh my God.
Why does Mommy take so long in the shower?
I just don't understand. She really loves her soap.
That was like a brand new bar of soap 3 days ago.
All right, this is slowly becoming a boudoir show.
Yes. Okay, so let's get back on track. So
back on track, our healthy tip of the week.
Our healthy tip of the week is, so as everybody knows, I've got the diabetes. I got the diabetes. I'm Scott Melkishin.
We're all going to hell.
I don't care. I'm driving the bus. So I have the diabetes, and one thing that I was trying out was I was drinking, or I have been drinking, apple cider vinegar.
Blech.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you.
that helps with weight loss, too.
It does. It's not like a quick fix or anything like that.
Apple juice.
Puking's so much easier.
Yeah.
I just take it for blood pressure with Kylie. Apple juice. Shot of apple juice.
Shot of apple juice and some apple cider vinegar.
If you take apple cider vinegar and a shot of apple juice, obviously if you're dealing with a diabetes, you're going to do, sugar-free apple juice.
Yeah.
But if you take in a shot of apple juice, I had slight high blood pressure when I was pregnant with Kylie, and it wasn't anything to worry about. So he told me to take apple cider vinegar. It's the healthiest thing to kind of keep my blood pressure in check. And so every morning I had to do that, and it was disgusting. And then somebody said, put in a shot of apple juice. Now that I'm not pregnant, I'm thinking I could just put it in a shot. Fireball.
That kind of defeats the purpose.
And soak it on down every morning.
There you go. Well,
and then I'll wake up the sex trophies.
Yeah. Well, but it's good for more than just weight loss and that sort of thing. And it really has helped with my blood sugar. And also, like, it's good for, like, if you take a bath in it, if you're having some vaginal problems. If you put a few tablespoons in a bath, it's supposed to help with the lady problems, itching and things like that. But it's got a lot of health benefits. So I've been using it for the diabetes, and it's been helping.
I imagine was you were about to say take apple cider vinegar and like use it as a douche, and I was going to tell you this one time
at band camp.
No. Someone who's in my family who's way older than me, and I cannot say their name because she'll kill me for telling this story on the air, but she had some, like, pH problems or something like that, we'll say, and her grandmother told her to use, like, apple cider vinegar or something like that to, like, freshen up there, and she thought she meant, and she said 1 part to, I don't know, a bottle or something like that.
Yeah.
I think she thought she meant like only a tablespoon of water and the whole thing of vinegar.
No.
Let's just say that almost ended in a fucking emergency room trip.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm
So if
sure.
you were going to say to clean that out with apple cider vinegar, I was going to be like, well.
No. You have to dilute it. It has to be diluted. Like a bathtub full of water and maybe 2 tablespoons. So you don't.
With a 1/4 tablespoon and work from there, girls.
Yeah. Well, and so, I mean, if you drink it, I've found that if you mix it with something like, we drink these ice waters. They're the sugar-free, like fizzy waters.
It's called sparkling. Sparkling
water, and it really lessens the taste, and that it helps out immensely. But make sure that you get the unpasteurized apple cider vinegar and not the pasteurized, because something in the pasteurization process, I think it kills some of the bacteria the good bacteria that you're supposed to be having or using, and it kind of, then you're just drinking it for nothing. For not the benefits.
No fucking, not for the benefits. We're so going to hell. The only reason why I know it's sparkling, and this is how dumb I can be, I was at the store with my mom, and I was looking at all of that water, and she goes, what are you looking for? I'm like, I really like this water, but I don't like the water that has bubbles in it. So I'm looking for ones that say no bubble.
Non-carbonated. That's what you want.
It's sparkling water, and please tell me you are not so stupid that you are looking for no bubbles on a wrapper. I'm like, okay, so I won't tell you again. She's like, sometimes I'm shocked you have a brain at all. Hi, Mini Hitler.
Hi, Mini Hitler.
There you go. Hi, Mini Hitler.
So, well, now that we've done the health tip of the week, why don't we move on to inspiration?
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
And that would be vintage.
That would be me. Absolutely.
Golf claps.
Golf claps all around.
Yay. So I came across this saying, and, I was thinking about this just now, especially with the movement we just had and
the bowel movement?
Huh? The bowel movement. Go drop a box or eat some cabbage.
Okay, it's ridiculous when every conversation at my dinner table, because I have 3 children,
is about
revolves
farting
around poop, and then it makes its way onto the show. I'm over it. Poop is not something to be joked about or discussed. You eat it in the bathroom.
Everybody poops. I mean,
everybody poops. Haven't you read the book?
I have it in the bathroom. I'm pretty sure Joey still reads it.
Yeah, there you go. But no, seriously, with the whole movement going on, and I think just the empowerment of women. I read this quote that says, the question isn't who's going to let me. It's who's going to stop me. And I think that's part of the thing that we sometimes as women or in society, it's the question of we've always been kind of like put in that position where we're having to almost ask for permission to do things. Or we're having to prove that we don't need to ask for it. So I think we need to walk around with that attitude of going, stop me. I don't need to ask you.
Right.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. I love it.
And I think being strong is such a huge character because I think it puts that force behind us that we are unstoppable.
Yeah, and I think, at least for me, I think my worst critic or the person telling me the most that I am stoppable or that I am stopped
is ourselves.
It's me. It's me. I'm my worst critic, always.
Exactly. And I think we need to look at ourselves too, as well as society, and be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, you can't stop me today.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should probably wake up every morning and do that. Though I probably wouldn't do it because I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm done.
But I don't know.
I really feel like women, I mean, like we said, everyone is their own worst critic, and you will tear yourself down before anybody else does. But
I think that's why it's so important to have a place like BB, where there are other women to say, look, I know you don't believe in you right now, but I believe in you.
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things that is so important about BB is I can tell you countless numbers of times where I feel like shit, but then I go on the page and I'm like, you know what, damn it, look at her. She's, this is going on in her life. And she's still kicking ass and taking names. I'm not going to let the fact that Joe had gum in his pocket and he went through the dryer stop my day. You know what I mean? I know it sounds funny, but sometimes for me it's a reality check, sometimes it's a laugh, but just kind of saying a shout out to how much I'm grateful for all of you being here.
Oh, yeah, you guys are amazing.
Thank you. And I think that comes back to something I had read earlier about, behind every really successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who always have their back. And I think that's what we're here for. We have your back. We want to keep you in that driving force. We want to make you successful.
Why don't we do this? Next show, why don't we do a show and being unstoppable. Being a woman, you know, times you thought you were going to give up, you guys can put stories on the page. We'll post in there after the show, put stories on the page, and we'll talk about, you know, when you're at your breaking point, how do you keep going?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that makes you achieve goals? What is it that makes you not achieve goals? Because that's one area I'm struggling in right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always that I achieve them. It's when I don't achieve them or when I get overwhelmed by them and I kind of just give up and throw it to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's when the miracles happen.
Well, and
Yeah, it's like that picture. Have you ever seen the picture on Facebook where there's two guys and they're digging holes and one's got an axe and he gives up and he's like 2 inches from all these diamonds and the other one is just going feverishly and is further down than he is and he's almost there too, and it's like you're giving up right before the miracle happens.
mm-hmm.
That's what we can call it. That's what we can call it. How to not give up before the miracle happens.
There you go.
All right, next show. Okay, well, that was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I have Hero of the Week. And I don't know if you've had a chance. If you haven't, please go see the movie Hidden Figures. My kids and I literally were, like, waiting for this to come out. We bought tickets for opening night. We went and saw it opening night. Well, the opening night, I had them. And, like, this was such a cool and important movie. And the reason why is the woman who's kind of like the center of the movie, Katherine Johnson, is an African-American woman, late 50s, early 60s, and she works for NASA. And just what she goes through, not only being black in that time, but being a woman in black in that time. Her story is phenomenal. And it's not that she has something where, you know, it's kind of like don't stop because the miracle happens. It's not like she has some tenacity about her or something like that. Like, she literally is a single mom to I think 3 or 4 girls. She doesn't have a choice. And she has her mother staying with her, you know, to help with the kids. She doesn't have a choice. She's got to make a paycheck. She's got to make a living. She's a widower. Like, her story is just, she just didn't have the choice to give up. It wasn't that she couldn't. It's that she didn't have a choice to. And she's just super cool. She's written a couple books. There was just a autobiography is when it's someone writes it for you, right? Okay, just making sure I'm doing this right. An autobiography written about her that was just released a couple weeks ago on Kindle, and it's actually on Kindle special today. So if you are Amazon book or Kindle happy, I think it's like $1.99. But great book about her life story and just literally like how she didn't have the choice to give up. It just wasn't an option for her. So that is my hero. And then we want to start a new, it'll be bi-weekly, so we're going to call it the bi-weekly BB. Because obviously we do the show bi-weekly. We want to do a beautiful bombshell kind of the show of the week kind of thing. Where you nominate someone. We're going to be putting up an email address for all future communication to go through, because that way all of us will have access to it instead of just messaging me. I have like 370-something requests for messages. I'm not getting to, and it's just not fair to people. So we're going to put up an email address, and we'll list it on the website too. And that'll be, you can, email and nominate. You can nominate them on the page, whoever. Maybe it's somebody you met through BB that makes you laugh. Maybe it's somebody that posts funny stuff and it brightens your day. Maybe it's somebody that just went through a hard time and maybe they didn't share it with the group, but you know them personally and they're in BB. Maybe it's somebody who you saw on the page long ago and they were crazy and now they're not as crazy. You know what I mean? Whatever it is that makes you want to nominate that person. So we will start doing that, and then we'll collect them probably like Wednesday before the show, and then we'll do those. So we'll post all that info by tomorrow evening. I'll have it posted. So on to the show. Blending. They are blending. Everybody to blend. All right, so we are going to talk about blending. Is it time to move in together? Is it time for marriage? What does that look like? What are you going to think about before you do it? What should you have thought about? Horror stories, funny stories, amazing stories, stories that'll just melt your little fucking heart. And then we're going to hear the complete opposition of all of this from the OBB constantly through the end of the night. I'm actually wearing my shirt. I told everybody it's appropriate today. My shirt says, "You are boring me, bye." And so the reason why I'm wearing that shirt tonight is because when anyone approaches me about Mr. Follow Through, and says, you know, you guys should get engaged, you should move in together, you should get married, you should take the next step, I literally look at them and say, you are boring me, bye. And then or I usually go do whatever else she asked me to do, because it's Mini Hitler. And
go clean this.
I asked her if Mini Hitler bothers her. Electric was there. I was like, hey, I had this drink, and I thought I should ask you if me calling you Mini Hitler bothers you. Like, do you get some violent physical reaction? And she slapped me.
She did. Because, okay. and then the OBB's like,
and I'm like, I'm going to go with that's a yes. And I was like, because I can mix it up. I could call you, like, fun-size Hitler. I could call you sassy Stalin.
I'm sure she loved that one.
Oh, yeah.
Me again. I got like the Italian head tap of love, where they just whack the shit out of the back of your head. I'm pretty sure it's not all the concussions from cheer and everything else that led up to my head problems. I'm pretty sure it's the love taps on the back of the head.
Yes. Those will
just
get
be
you.
afraid when she says, Mari, can you get in the dryer?
Fight, man.
Them be fighting words.
That's right.
Oh my god. Josh, or Mr. Baladu's like, she actually slapped you. And I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
He's like across the face. And I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
And he seemed like offended or upset about it. And I'm like, your mom doesn't slap you? Like, is this just a cultural thing where they still beat our ass well into our 30s? I'm guessing it is.
I don't think my mom would be afraid to slap me either.
Yeah, I don't think my mom. If I said the right thing, I'm sure that would be a slap.
I'm pretty sure anything falls in that category for mom.
Yeah. Well,
if it's Tuesday.
If it's Tuesday and you,
tomorrow Wednesday,
you're gonna get a slap.
I'm just kidding. She doesn't beat me. Don't call the abuse hotline for me.
Well, it's not really gonna matter because you're already too old for the abuse hotline.
Damn it.
For protective services will not intervene.
She's probably wishing she would have called them years ago. What do you mean, Salvation Army? You don't take 36-year-old? Anyway, so blending, is it a good idea? Although, you know, it's so funny because I'm so anti-blending in my own life, but my dad, who I refer to as my dad, is my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't come with any fucking kids. So I think that's why I don't mind.
There you go. Then you're like, yeah, we're good. We're good. So, what kind of, what's something that causes you, like, okay, so OBB, how long did it take you for you to introduce your kids to Mr. Follow-Through? And why?
Hold on.
Are you eating again?
No, I'm counting on my fingers.
Oh.
I needed all of them for a minute. And I needed a minute to touch them and figure out where I was at. Okay. So if you have ever gotten divorced in the state of Illinois, you have to take a parenting class. And in this class, it tells you should wait at least 6 months. So he accidentally met one of them at 7 months.
Yeah.
No, 5 months. 5 months. He met all 3 of them on purpose at like 7.5 months. But it would have been probably 8.5 or 9. I didn't have a choice because my mom invited him to a holiday. Won't leave those 2 alone again. But yeah, no, it wouldn't have been at that time. But she invited him to Memorial Day, I think it was Labor Day or something like that. And then I was like, hey, by the way. And it was super funny when I told the kids, they were like, oh my God, we thought you were dating Ryan. I'm like,
yeah.
Why would you think that? And they're like, well, we met Ryan months ago, and we hadn't met him, and we hang out with him, and you talk to him, so we just assumed. I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, we also thought you were seeing maybe like Chris and that other guy and that other guy. I'm like, no! God. Fucking awful children. But yeah, they were like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, is this a problem? And I'm like, you know, is this a problem? And they were like, we don't care. You know, is he nice? And I'm like, I think he's nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I made it a much bigger deal than it actually was. But I am not, like, my ex and I haven't been together for over 4 years. And I've only had, in that period of time, 2 guys meet my kids. I've dated multiple men. I only had 2 guys meet my kids, and one was not invited to meet them. He literally showed up at my doorstep, and I lived in a gated community. I didn't think that his name was on the gate and he can get in whenever he wanted. So I thought he was the pizza guy. I'm like, Joe, here's the door. The money's on the table for the pizza. And he's like, it's not the pizza, dude.
There's no pizza here.
Right, but he kept asking to meet my kids, and I was like, go for a fucking walk. Like, no.
Yeah. Take a long walk off a short pier.
Right, well, I found out later why. He would spend the night, and I would literally make him stay in my bedroom until my kids left for school. And then when they saw his car, I told him it was my friend Rhonda's, and she was sleeping. She had a place to crash last night.
Yeah.
Stay out of my room, she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would lock my door, take the key. Like, I was like, insane about it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think you really have to be, you know, I've heard it both ways, you know, he met my kids instantly, why hide them, or why would you want to work, like, I have one friend who still tells me, she's like, Mara, why would you want to build something with somebody for half a year, and then have them meet your kids, and then there's a really bad dynamic between all of you, or whatever, or them and him, and now you just basically have to start all over because of the kids. And I'm like, well, you know, I get that point, because now you just wasted 6 months, 7 months, whatever, trying to introduce your kids, you know, whatever. And I don't know. For me, if it's important enough, you'll work on that.
You gotta speak up.
And I think that's and that's
not you. Whoever just spoke before, we can't hear any. Yeah.
Oh, say that. I said if it's important enough, you can work on it.
True. Very true. Agreed.
If you want to wait that 6 months or however long it is to make you comfortable that you're going to introduce somebody to your kids, but if it doesn't work out that first time, you work on it.
Okay, so going with that, all right. So let's go on that for a minute. So you're dating someone. Obviously, if you're going to move towards moving in, anything like that, down the road, they have to meet your kids. So they meet your kids. And what if there is an instant disconnect? I mean, I deal with this. Like, I have one child that just doesn't like, but there's just no, like,
connection.
There's no connection for her and who I'm dating. And she's a difficult one. She's her mama's daughter, and true, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, and part of the reason that we got down to, too, was because the last person I did date, she was very close with him. Like, they would text and talk, and when she was homesick one day from school, he stayed home with her. Like, they had a really good connection, and she doesn't ever speak to him anymore. Mm-hmm. That really hurt her. And she's like me. Once I get attached to something and then I get hurt, oh, hell no, that'll never happen again because I'm going to do everything I can to guard my heart, you know?
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with it, too. It's not anything he did or anything she did. She's not evil. He's not a bad person. Mm-hmm. But is it something you work through? Or do you feel like if the moment, because the moment they met, I mean, they joke around and they have fun now, you know what I mean? And she even said the last time we were here, like, that was a really good time with him. And there was no instant disconnect between him and any of my children. Because in all honesty, I feel like if there was instant disconnect between any of my children and somebody I was dating, I would be like, we're done. But I also will fully admit there are times where my children rule my life. Okay? Own it. Okay? My mother says way more often than it should be. Do you think that if someone met your son, you have a son, yeah, Mojo, if someone met your son and there was an instant disconnect, would that be a complete turn off to a relationship with you? Or would that be something you'd be like, all right, well, we'll see how it goes next time?
I would honestly say, let's see how it goes the next time, because SJ could be just having one of his really bad days.
See, I think it's almost easier with a toddler. Like, I know this sounds funny.
I mean, yeah, I have a toddler.
They can be cranky, and you can be like, oh, it's one of his bad days. You know what I mean? Like, and they're young. They'll forget. I mean, I'm not saying introduce every fucking guy to your toddler, please.
No.
Yeah, no.
But what I'm saying is, when they're younger, they tend to forget. Like, for instance, I met Follow-Through's daughter, who's 3, way before he met my kid. But, and he's like, well, you've met my kid. I'm like, yeah, but you have a 3-year-old little girl who in 2 weeks won't remember what I look like.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 children that will remember your name, what you look like, what kind of car you drove, you know what I mean? Like,
but you know what?
What kind of shoes you were wearing.
Yeah.
He looks at me, and it's like he knows, and he's going to remember. I swear to God, it's like he's going to remember.
he's going to hold this one against your mouth.
Yeah.
So,
no, I just think the really tricky kids are born with that look. Your kid ever give you that look, like, I will remember this forever.
but like,
Forever.
What's the difference between a toddler and a teenager, really? I mean, you just
one
be
smells
having...
better.
Yeah.
But it's like, honestly, though, he could be just having a bad day,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like, okay, let's feel it out the next time, you know, and see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I see, but I mean, I feel like if we got together a couple times and one of my kids or all of my kids are like, no, thank you.
I would try to communicate and be like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah. What
this
is
is
it?
a true testament to how bad at communication, yet I never shut up I am. I'd be like, well, that one bit us. I never shut up, but I don't communicate about anything worthwhile.
I would ask SJ. I'd be like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know?
What about this? What about this gentleman is not?
Maybe he could give me some insight on maybe a red flag that I'm missing.
Yeah.
Well, I would be talking to my kids about the dude, but I wouldn't talk to the dude and be like,
No.
Like, it was a huge thing for me to go to Mr. Follow-Through and be like, look, so here's the deal. Because every other Sunday I have my kids.
I would have no problem with going to the dude and being like, sorry, my kid doesn't like you. Okay? Like, I would take what my son is saying into
Oh,
account,
yeah, no,
you know?
like, that's easy for me.
Yeah.
But, like, to actually say to him, like, this is going to be something that if you... I mean, I didn't say it in this way, but, I mean, really, I felt, if this relationship you want to keep, this is going to be a relationship you're going to have to work at. Like, I did not say that to him. I should probably do that. But I have not said that to him. But to me, when I told him about this and was like, maybe you could take her to the Painted Penguin, just you, her, and Zoe the next time I have her. Like, these weren't suggestions for me to just throw out there. These were like, dude, this is a relationship. If you want to keep this relationship, this one's going to need work too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I say that to him. Hey, babe, listen to the show for me, thanks. But, I mean, I think that's probably a big part of what I know I'm not ready to take certain steps because I don't communicate well with him about anything. I mean, Electra can tell you she does 95% of my communication.
Gotta work on that.
I have people for that.
Well, here's the funny thing is
Sorry,
with-
Mr. Follow Through every once in a while say, should my person call your people? Yeah.
Well, I had to joke for a little bit there because when some stuff was going down with the OBB and Mr. Follow Through, I would like put my 2 cents in and put my 2 cents in, and I would say it to him too. So it was always just being said. And I joked and I said, hey, how does Mr. Follow Through feel about me entering into your relationship? Now that I'm a part of your relationship.
And I told her he's fucking thankful someone knows what the hell's going on with me. So our relationship, me, Electric, and Mr. Follow Through, it works for us.
It's kind of
Hey, look at
polyish.
that. I'm in a polygamous, monogamous relationship.
Yes.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. So I want to hear some other stories about, blending families. So Vintage, being in a polygamous relationship, you must have like the ultimate blended family.
We do.
Blended to like the umph degree.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Blended between us, we have 7 freeloaders. I don't want to say they're all freeloaders because a lot of them are like independents, and I still have one that's still a dependent for the most part. But
stop calling me a dependent.
You are a dependent baby.
I'm cuter than that.
But I just it's a tough road to kind of bear through. And it's a lot of trials and tribulations. I didn't wait as long in my past relationships for kind of holding out with my kids. When my husband and I got together, he knew my children before we did, so they already knew him. He was kind of part of our circle, so that wasn't a surprise, but and sometimes I wonder, is there a benefit to holding out? From letting our kids meet but on the person we're dating, or are we saving the person we're dating from our kids? I guess, it depends on how you want to look at it.
Well, but also for you on the flip side, it took you, he didn't introduce you to his kids.
Right.
For quite some time. So,
correct.
So did you find that there was a difference between, did you feel like there was a disconnect when you met his kids after,
No, not really at all. And actually, his kids were really great, as far as the whole situation. All the kids are always, I think kids are really, even as though we say kids are really resilient, I think we don't give them enough credit sometimes. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, if you think about it, they're doing their job. They're protecting their parents. And that's, something that has to be expected. And that did happen. There was that needing to make sure that, the people that were involved in doing this were just as taken care of as we were, especially because we were entering into a polygamous, situation.
And I think it also helps too. Aren't his kids older? And some of them have kids of their own.
Our kids are grown and have children of their own. This home, my home, is the home where we have little children still. And I look at it on the flip side. I look at my children who have been a part of things since the beginning versus my ex-husband's dating and has been seeing the same person for years now and has never come out to say, I'm dating this person, and the only way my kids found out was because they walked in on them on accident. And I think my kids were kind of hurt because they felt out of the loop and felt like they were kind of, that he was a little dishonest with them or that he was hiding something. So I guess, if you, whatever your reasons are for choosing to hold in, whether you're dating somebody or not wanting to have your kids meet your significant other at that point, is really a personal choice. And how is it going to, affect them when it does come out, and how you do it.
And I think, too, one of the biggest things that I've noticed with hearing stories of people who wait a long time and people who don't wait anytime, too, is it's also based on their children. How are their children with them dating? How are their children with them bringing new friends around? How are their, and how they introduce them. Like, this is just a friend. This is my friend so-and-so. This is his kid. And then they kind of see how the dynamic works. And a couple, and I'll mention him by first name, Jennifer and Dave. He has a child from a previous marriage. She has 3 from a previous marriage. They are probably, the best blended family outside of, obviously, Electric is completely blended, Vintage. But they are probably one of the best examples of a blended family where they're bringing kids into the same home that have to go to school together and eat breakfast together and all these different things, and they really work as a team. And if you ask, her, how many kids do you have? 4. If you ask him, how many kids do you have? 4. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's like, she's like, oh, I have this, these daughters, which are Brandon, or her boyfriend's daughters, and my son Frank, or my son, it's like that. So I think it's also built on how your children are, who your children are, like
their personality.
Yes.
My biggest problem with my kids is my oldest and my youngest are a lot like me. They get attached to people extremely easily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even picky about my friends meeting my children. And Electric and Vintage can attest to that. I'm even shy about my friends meeting my children.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that they get instantly attached. And when you're around today, but you're not around 6 months from now, I have some friends I have not seen in legit over 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
My kids still ask about them sometimes 3 times a week. And what happened? And why aren't they in our lives? And why can't we see them? Or why can't I call so-and-so's daughter? I don't understand.
I don't understand why I can't do this. Yeah.
And that was another big part of sex trophy number 2 is argument about Mr. Follow-Through.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I let him into my life? The last person that I let into my life and said would always be there, I don't see anymore. Why would I take this risk again? And she literally told me, you're stupid for taking this risk. But that's what heartbreak feels like. You're stupid for trying again.
Mm-hmm.
And I worry about her because she is growing up to be me without dating. Without 17 years of marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I try to watch it around her, and I try to show her good times and different things like that.
This is the reason why.
Well, and her dad and his girlfriend have a very good relationship. They're always together, so she sees, that aspect from them too. She doesn't really like either aspect. She doesn't like having someone around 24/7, and she doesn't like that I'm so independent. Mm-hmm. So I think hopefully she's seeing both sides and formulating her own
plan.
Or I fucked her up for life. I'm sure this one's going to make me pay for multiple therapy sessions. Although I'm pretty sure she owes me therapy already. But whatever. All right, So how about from you, Electric? You obviously have the whole blended family. How did that work for you?
I do. My son Frank, he was really young when Brandon and I started dating. He wasn't super, super young, but he was young enough. And so, he met him probably about like 2 months after we had started seeing each other. But, when Brandon talks about Frank, he talks about his kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, my kid. But, he also knows that, so my ex is very much in my son's life. Like, he's he's really good with wanting to see Frank, wanting to be with him, wanting him to have, equal amount of time between, him and I.
Well, you share custody with your ex, like I do with mine.
Yeah. But here's the difference, though, is I feel like, my ex and I, we're exes, and, so that's got its own little thing, but we're still able to co-parent in a, like...
We co-parent very well. Just ask me about graduation tickets.
Yes. Yes. Me and my ex, we co-parent very well. And, he's, like I've said before, my ex is a great guy. He's, definitely there for his kid. He's definitely there to, to help support him, and he's good. He's really good with Frank, and he's really makes the time. Yeah, he's really supportive, and, all of that, which is, for me, I'm very thankful that it is that way.
Yeah.
But, this isn't Brandon's first blended family. His ex-girlfriend that he had been dating for, 6 years, she had 2 daughters, and their dads kind of flaked off. And, so he became a surrogate father, and like their stepdad. And they don't even call their real dad's dad. They call Brandon dad. And if things are going
awesome.
Yeah, and if things are going wrong in their lives or they need somebody to talk to and they need dad, they call him. So, and for Brandon, it's very important for him, I think he kind of feels maybe like a slippery slope there. Like, he knows that my ex is still there for Frank. But he wants to be just as there for Frank. But he tries to make sure that he knows that he's not trying to replace his father at all.
Right.
He's there, just as another father figure almost. But definitely keeps it like, this is your dad. That's your dad. You don't call me dad. Don't do me, that sort of thing. You don't have to do that sort of stuff. And the cutest thing was, so Brandon would go pick up Frank from daycare. And they'd be like, Frank, your dad's here. And he's like, and Frank would reply, oh, that's not my dad, that's my Brandon. So, I think Frank really understands that Brandon does have his best interest in mind. But he's not necessarily always he isn't always gonna act like a dad, quote unquote, but he will always be there for him like a dad. So I mean, I really hit the jackpot with Brandon as far as my kid. And when we moved in together, before we moved in together, I was saying to him, I was like, are you sure you want to move in with me? I'm like, my kid comes first. Nothing will come before my kid. So, I don't care if you're talking to me and Frank needs something right now. I'm gonna attend to him. Like, that's just the way it is. My kid will come first. And
in all honesty, my ex-husband had a horrible time with that. If him and I were talking and one of the kids needed something, I'd be like, hold on. All right, baby, what do you need? And he'd be like, seriously, they can just interrupt? I'm like, okay, well, she's 3 and needs a cup of water.
Yeah.
And I can't get it herself. So, yeah, she's going to come before you.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sorry. Like, don't worry. I'm going to listen to how shitty your day is and how everyone's horrible to you and responsible for why your life sucks in 2 minutes after I get the baby some juice, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
That shit used to piss me off. But see, I'm an asshole. Like, I told Mr. Follow Through his best friend Big Papa today. I don't know why either. Like, I'm a dick. Especially if I'm cranky about something or if you've irritated me and I don't want to talk about it yet. I'm a total dick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, you are.
I'm not going to. I know you don't anytime soon. I got like a laundry list of things to work on, people. I'm not working on any of them right now. I'll pick it up again. I don't have to improve self every day.
Yeah.
Some days I just drink Mike's light hard lemonade and feel good that it's light.
There you go. There you go.
I drink Moscato and tell myself it's literally made out of grapes, so therefore
it's a fruit.
It's a fruit.
Yep. But
and it's fermented, so there's got to be some kind of good bacteria in there somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a probiotic.
It's my probiotic.
Probiotic.
It's my probiotic and a daily serving of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I've now justified being an alcoholic.
There you go.
You're welcome, all you alkies who were looking for help.
There you go.
There you go. Well, so all of us have exes, obviously. How do you deal with your ex having a new relationship?
Pick me. Pick me.
Don't even
pick me.
Did you say healthy?
No, how do you deal with your ex having a relationship?
Oh, okay. Because I thought you said in a healthy relationship, and I was going to say, don't talk to me.
And if you have a healthy relationship, with your ex and you're located at the table in Illinois, please raise your hand. No one's raising their hand. And if you have a healthy relationship and you are in Wisconsin,
Raise your hand.
with your ex, please raise your hand.
No.
Electric, do I see a hand? If I did, it would be yours.
Yep,
Yeah,
there it
yeah,
is.
just her.
Yep.
Well, so
So
go-
I sometimes wonder if you can have a healthy relationship because there are times where, the kids and I we can be the damn near best of friends. We talk, it's great, we laugh, send memes back and forth about, shitty children or being shitty parents and kind of congratulating yourselves that, they're still alive. And then at other times, he can send me a text message when I'm in the middle of a movie, and it just pisses me off to my fucking core.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I know what he's saying. And then when I talk to him, he's like, that's not what I was saying at all. Like, you misunderstood what I was saying. I was like, no, motherfucker, that's exactly word for word, that's what you said. Yeah, but you're taking it this way, and this is the way I meant it. I'm like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
and so, I don't know. I think the fact that you once shared everything together and now it's like you damn near fight over everything. Like, there are areas with me and areas with him that will set us off.
mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think and I do say we, I'm not innocent. I think we go searching for those sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, just the right buttons to push.
Mm-hmm.
To instantly, like that, just piss the other person off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Why do you do it, though? It's not a matter of doing it on purpose. I mean, I knew when I found out about Joe's graduation and everything, I knew that was going to create an issue. I knew it.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about what it is.
You just know that you're going to.
I know it's going to be, this isn't fair. Well, why do you get to? Well, blah, blah, blah. And the choice in what it is, Joe, one of our children is graduating. He gets 3 tickets for graduation. He asked if Mr. Follows Through could come to graduation, if he could make it. He can. His schedule is very demanding, so when he can make things, it's hard. So I asked him, and he can, but we only get 3 tickets. So that means me, the kid's dad, and Mr. Follow Through. I know. I know going into this is an issue.
mm-hmm.
Because he has a girlfriend.
Yes.
And I know that the first argument is going to be she's been to more things than anybody.
And you hate to put that on your kid.
And then he's going to say he's going to go talk to our son and make our son feel guilty, and then is going to come back to me and say, well, that's not what our son meant.
Mm-hmm.
We should have put names in a hat and picked who got the other ticket.
Well,
there's a way to do this fair.
Can
you find out if you can get another ticket? These are the things I know are going to go on.
Well,
and then, depending on how serious this is going to stay, depends on if he pulls the ultimate card, which he did about 2 birthday parties already. So I don't not put it past him. If he's going to be there, I won't come.
Well,
and 2 birthday parties for that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a good solution.
Age and a half birthday for this child. So it's just ridiculous. And I know going into it, it's going to be a fight. And then that's what I'm saying is when you live with someone else and you have a blended family. So and I guess in a way, Mr. Pellicer and I guess we are a blended family because this argument ensued, a pre-argument to this ensued about something totally different. Ensued last night while we were on date night, and we're in the middle of a movie theater, and I'm arguing with my ex.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously my attitude shifts, and then I'm on the way home, and I'm talking to my ex, and getting in the car, and the way I felt that conversation was going to go, versus when I got out of the car and I was okay, because the conversation actually went well, obviously my attitude changes. So he's already influenced by that. And yes, he does listen to me vent all the time, especially lately. Mm-hmm. But for a long time, like, I kept all of that private from him. Like, he would hear tidbits. I mean, there was a lot going on, so it was hard for him not to know some stuff. But I feel that sometimes I feel like the chaotic relationship I have with my ex is still too hard to try to bring somebody in full-time to my life. Right. To be like him and I are still arguing, sometimes weekly, sometimes daily, sometimes it's once a month. It hasn't been once a month yet. I'm waiting for that day.
No,
But that complicated relationship there, like, having someone else that's going to have feelings about that relationship. I'm very lucky that Mr. Molitor doesn't have a lot of feelings. and I laugh and I say that in a good and a bad, you know. But he doesn't get attached to what happens with him. He's like, babe, why does it surprise you? Let it go.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you need to hear.
Yeah, and it is exactly what I need to hear, you know. Or he's even said things like, tonight's my and your night. I don't want to hear any more about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And obviously, you know, that was last night. I'm sitting there arguing with him, and now it's affecting my relationship with Jay because I'm in a different space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and it's nice that he can say those things to me, and I don't get butthurt about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This, you know, this I can fucking pick this up tomorrow after you go to work, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, can I make a suggestion about the graduation? So that nobody gets hurt? I would suggest that it's just that only you and Phil can go, and that's it. And everybody else can meet you out for a celebratory dinner afterwards. And then nobody is excluded.
Yeah, like, here's the thing is, it's not even, this ticket isn't even something I'm going to argue over with him. Next argument I'm going to have is with Minnie Hitler about how these are her grandchildren. She has been there since they were in the womb. She was at Joe's ultrasound. His own damn father wasn't there. You know, like, just wait. This is only one of many arguments. I'm his godfather. I'm his namesake. I mean, we've got arguments coming about this child's graduation. There won't be a shortage.
Yes, but I mean,
I'm almost to that. The problem, the only thing I have is, and I should have handled this differently, especially with his father. But this is what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't what I picked for him.
Yeah.
This isn't what. And this date isn't about me or their father or me and Mr. Follow Through or him and his girlfriend. It is not about anybody but Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
So my problem in saying, because my sister said, well, why don't you go? He goes and nobody uses a third time. You know, make some other family happy that needs some. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's an easy way to settle the score, so to say, but that's not what Joe wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, this day isn't about my feelings. If Joe would have said, you know what, Mom, it's really important to me to have Dad's girlfriend there, I would have said, okay. I would have swallowed a lot of pride, but I've done it before. I can do it again. But I would have been okay with it. It's what he wants. What's going to end up happening is somehow it's going to get twisted around into this is what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And that's the fight I don't want to have.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, this is what your child wanted. And then he goes back to him and talks to him. And obviously, when someone's coming at you, is this what you wanted?
Is there any way you can prep him for that?
He texted me. Like, he knew this was gonna, you know, this.
No, does he know that his dad would do that?
He knows, yeah. I mean, he knows that this could potentially be an issue and asked me to handle it. Well, and I told him, and him and I are very close, and he knows. He knows about how I can be about stuff.
You can just go back to him and say, you know what, there's only so much that I can do.
Right. His little sister accidentally called his dad's girlfriend, Matt. And my son thought I was going to blow up about it. You know, one daughter can't wait to tell me, the other one's terrified for me to hear that she called her mom. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, look, if you are at that point and that's what you want to do and no one is forcing you to do this, and that's what you're comfortable with, okay, that's what, she's got 3 boys around her that constantly call her mom. I mean, I can get the confusion, you know what I mean? And if you're comfortable, I don't care. And this is the one thing I will say with that I think everyone who knows me and knows my situation personally is when it comes to whether it be my ex's girlfriend, Mr. Follow Through's child's mom, I have no problem. I will befriend you. Like, I have no problem because obviously, like with Mr. Follow Through's daughter and her mother, he has a special relationship with her. They have a kid together. You know what I mean? I respect you as her mother, and I will respect you, period. Like, you're going to get that respect from me. But I'm raised old-fashioned. You get respect before you give it, in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same with my ex and his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, based on history, I have multiple reasons not to like this woman. I don't have any issue with her. But I also don't have any attachment to my ex-husband. Which I think is a big one that a lot of women don't want to face.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, and when we first separated, and I left him, I was angry with women that dated him. And it wasn't that I was angry at them, that I was trying to be a whatever to get him back. But it was 2 things. One, that was my property for how many years? Yeah, I don't think so. And number 2, and I have no problem owning that. And number 2 was, are you crazy? Do you have any idea what he's put me through? Are you an idiot? Do you not see the red sign? You know what I mean? But he wasn't the right person for me. That doesn't make him the right person for someone.
Exactly.
Respect their relationship. I've even had to talk to my youngest child about being nice to her. Because it's not nice to be, mean to daddy's girlfriend for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
No problem with that. I think my mom always put it best. If your child has one more person that is in their corner, that treats them well, loves and encourages and supports them, yes. This is a cruel fucking world.
Mm-hmm.
You have one more person in your corner to say, it's going to be okay. You can do this. I believe in you. I love you, and I support you. Absolutely. Because my children have a very special relationship with me. They have a very special relationship with my ex.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a very special relationship with his girlfriend and are developing, one with Mr. Follow Through as I do with his child. Because of that, having animosity there is stupid. Now, if you don't treat my kid right, or you cause them, which I think we've all learned.
Yes.
I have no problem speaking my damn mind.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to my children.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, she's good to my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously there's always some miscommunication issues. We're getting those sorted out. But I'm blessed. So really and truly, but I know there's tons of people that have had an opposite effect. Have you guys ever had the opposite effect? Because I know tons of people that, their ex is now with someone and that person's just horrid.
I was with, my ex when he started dating, I thought she was a nice girl. Her and I got along just fine. The only thing that bothered me was she didn't spend enough time with Frank. So we have an every other weekend kind of deal that we do. And on the weekends that my ex would have Frank, she wouldn't spend the night. She would always make other plans. They wouldn't really do things together. And, this was somebody that he was talking about marrying and proposing to and having other kids with. And for me, I was kind of like, could you spend some more time with my kid? Can you have this relationship with him? Because if you're going to be part of his life and, marrying his dad and possibly bringing other kids into the world, that will be his brothers and sisters, I want you to have a good relationship with my son. I want you to be close with my son. I want you to, to do all this stuff. And she just never did that. And I know that it probably sounds weird that I'm like, well, why wasn't this other woman spending time with my son? But for me, when my ex was saying, oh yeah, we're talking about getting married and we're talking about moving in together, I just kind of felt like, well, she needs to spend some time with Frank.
That's she would red flags right there.
Yeah. Like, and one of the things that kind of really upset me was, so my ex and her decided that they were talking about moving in together and moving to the city of Oregon. Mm-hmm. And that's a town here in Wisconsin. But so they were talking about moving to Oregon, which I was like, oh, that's fine. But then I said to him, I said, well, Frank goes to school in Evansville. Are you going to drive all the way to Evansville and back to come and get him? I don't understand.
No.
He was like, well, my girlfriend and I talked about it, and we were talking about moving Frank to Oregon schools. And for me, that was a big no-no, because my ex and I had talked about it, and we had decided that Frank was going to go to schools in Evansville. We had gone out of our way to drive from Janesville to Evansville to take him to daycare since he was a baby. So all these kids that he had grown up with, literally, like from the baby room all the way to school age, he was now talking about taking him away from all these people that he's grown up with. And for me, the part that really bothered me was that he talked about it with his girlfriend. I understand that they were trying to take that next step into, living together and that sort of thing. But instead of talking to me about it right after they had decided this, about moving my child to a different school, he waited to talk to me until after they were already looking for apartments, already looking for a home. And that to me was very disrespectful on his part.
Is it kind of like having a conversation with your child about going to a completely different school?
Yes.
And letting your child come home and tell you, hey,
yeah. By the way,
this school, and they have this and this and this and this and this. That's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
Why? Because
yeah.
I said so.
Because I said so.
And I'll be perfectly informing the adults that you had that conversation with.
Yeah. Well, and so my parents kind of, they're like, there's absolutely positively no way that that's going to happen. My son doesn't deal with change very well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so I, talked to my parents about it, and I was like, this is the people he's grown up with. These are the people that he knows, and now he's just going to move him to a different school where he doesn't know anybody. I'm like, that's not fair to him. And so I purchased a house in Evansville so that, even if he wanted to say, oh, well, I'm going to take him to Oregon, I can fight him on it. So yeah, so they broke up. I think because I don't know how ready she was to become part of a blended family. And she was a city girl. She wanted to stay living in Madison and all of that. So it just didn't work out between them. So, but yeah, I have to say that was probably like the one thing in my, blended family kind of deal that went bad, but we worked through it and we got to where we are now. So there's that. Yay!
Yeah. All right. Well, it is about 10:20. You want to do final thoughts on blended families?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm thinking if we do this one in an hour, we can do the next one. Do some prep for that, and then do the next one.
Alrighty.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, Electric. What's your final thought on blended families?
On blended families, I feel like if you're gonna do it, there's gonna be some bumps in the road. There's gonna be some, give and take, and you're gonna have to. It's really all about compromise and communication. And definitely take cues from your kids. If your kid is really like, it's been 6 months and they're still like, I just don't like this other person. I just don't like them.
There's a problem.
There's a problem. Trust your gut. And I feel like in my mind, no relationship with a man or a woman is worth losing your children. And so make sure that if you do decide to be with somebody else and you want to blend your families, make sure that it's right for everybody, and that it's definitely good for everyone.
Amen.
Yeah. All right, Vintage, final thoughts on blending?
I think final thought, patience. Be patient. And I think, that's a really good thing. Your kids will give you cues. Pay attention to them. And I think that will help you find the answer as to what's right for you. And, every kid is different. So what works for one isn't going to work for another. So you have to really, it's great to get the advice that we give, and we get the advice from our friends or our families. But ultimately, it really comes down to knowing your child and knowing how they're going to react in the situation and what you feel is right for them as well as for your relationship.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mojo.
I'm going to say trust yourself. Trust yourself is probably one of the most important things that you can do on a daily basis, and love yourself. Remember that, and go easy on yourself, because you're your own worst critic. In regards to blended families, trust your gut and be patient. And be conscious of your surroundings. And yeah, I think that's all I got.
All right, Slinger.
Yeah, Slinger.
We haven't heard from her all show because she's shooting him quiet. Speak right into the microphone. You might want to yell. We just rested the microphone on the bottle of wine. Hashtag.
I think it's looking out for the red flags and making sure that it's the right fit for yourself, what you're comfortable with, taking into account what your kids are comfortable with, and also the type of relationship that you have with your ex. In my case, being a little bit more high conflict, I probably hesitate a little bit more, just because I'm always thinking about how that would play out in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough position to be in, because obviously we have a mutual friend that sometimes thinks about that, and he has to more and more has to think about.
Yeah, I think about that.
How does this look in front? Not how does this look in front of my kids, or how is this going to feel to my ex, but how does this look a courtroom full of people that don't know me, you're one person that's going to be the ultimate judge on this. So that's definitely a tough one for me. I will say this, having come from a blended family, I wouldn't be who I am today without my dad. And he is my dad. He's not my stepdad. He is a man that didn't have to be a father, that chose to be one, even in some of the worst times. And for all men and women who do that, thank you. You know, my dad essentially had 3 children that were active in his life. I was the middle one, and I was dying for a relationship with him, and I wasn't worth it. My older brother wanted nothing to do with him. He scoured, literally, Europe and the USA for him. And my little sister he lived with, and he was an amazing father, too. If it wouldn't have been for my, so-called stepdad, I wouldn't have had a father figure. I wouldn't have a man to say, you know what, to my son, this is what a real man is. You know, a real man says tough or good, good or bad times. Please be less crabby. Which right now, I'm pretty sure Papa and Joe have the same temperament, since one's a teenager and one's a grumpy old man. I'm pretty, they're like 2 peas in a pod. It's great and awful at the same time. And they're really great at making fun of me at the same time. So I think that's what they bonded over. So obviously, coming from that relationship, I'm very thankful for blended families and for the father I have. On my end, obviously, moving in with someone and living with someone and having children requires a great deal of communication. And so for someone who talks all the time but really has nothing quite of value to say, I'm going to say I'm going to work on my communication skills. Maybe we can approach this subject again and see how I feel about it in about a year.
Well.
Because then this follow-through doesn't get sick of me being mean to him. I think I, got it messed up. I'm really nice to people I hate. I'm really mean to people I love. I think I fucked that up. We gotta work on that.
Yep.
I'm loyal as fuck. I'll do anything for you. But I'm just going to insult you while I do it.
There you go.
I'm just going to insult you the whole time. Don't worry about it.
The whole time. And when you fuck up, first I'm going to be there for you, and then I'm going to make fun of it on every show after.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, Hectrick, thank you. Cynthia, thank you for, sharing your very personal and awesome story. Slinger, Mojo, thank you.
Thanks for being on the show, ladies.
To all of ladies and everyone listening, USA, worldwide, thank you. We love you all. We appreciate the support. And until next time.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Thanks. Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.